Hi everyone, and thank you for hanging on for the last talk. I truly appreciate it. So my topic is not the most pleasant, but okay, more close. Okay.
We don't hear you.
Okay. So I will be talking about treating pig manure to reduce greenhouse gases, and through this, retaining its resource value. So pig slurry is a highly abundant resource. One pig produces roughly 2.5 tons of slurry a year. And as an example, in the EU alone, there are around 132 million pigs. So it's readily available. It's rich in carbon, making it a feedstock to make biomethane, as well as being a valuable fertilizer that can replace the need for synthetic fertilizers. However, it is also a significant source of greenhouse gases and ammonia and odors. So methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and also ammonia are released mainly due to microbial activity within the slurry during storage. And pig slurry can be stored anything from, depends on the setup, if they have a biogas plant next to the farm or not. So it can be stored for 1 week or up to some months. So a solution to this is to add additives to the slurry to reduce the microbial activity and so reduce the emissions that are coming off the slurry. And in this way, we retain these valuable nutrients within the slurry. And this is especially important in in economies such as Ireland and New Zealand, where a lot of agriculture occurs. So 38% of our greenhouse gases are from agricultural emissions. So we need to find solutions. So this work is testing a novel slurry additive. This is just a picture to show some cute pigs. And we won't think about their fate. These green slats, their slurry falls down beneath these, and the slurry is stored underneath. And to maximize the rate of production of pigs, their rooms typically are kept at 22 degrees Celsius. So the slurry beneath is at 22 degrees Celsius, so it's quite warm. So the additive is a peroxide-based additive that has successfully been used in dairy manure, but it's a very different manure and it's stored at much colder temperatures. So to do this, the group set up this mobile laboratory within a shipping container, and we used IBC tanks. These were fitted with heated jackets to 22 degrees, and they were filled 3/4 more or less with slurry. We had gas flow over the surface to mimic the airflow, and the outlet we measured with this Gasera 1 pulse, a great machine, methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and nitrous oxide. We also had a second setup over which no airflow was pushed, and this was to get an idea of the total volume of emissions, which is hard to get in a real life situation. We might be able to get the content of the gas, but not how much. The second phase was to prove our hypothesis that if we are preventing these emissions in storage, then the end product has a higher biomethane potential. So first we will look at the methane and carbon dioxide. So the red is the untreated stored slurry and the green that which has been treated. So we see this really nice inhibition, very little gas is coming off, and around 23 days it starts to wear off and we see the emissions start to increase. So in a real world situation, this is when the additive would be reapplied, probably with a sensor that once the emissions start to climb, the treatment is just injected again. For the nitrogenous compounds, a similar pattern. These peaks and troughs are due to the temperature. Amazingly, it was warmer than 22 degrees in Ireland, and the tanks in the day were getting warmer than 22 degrees, and at night back to 22, so we have these spikes. But still, we get a nice reduction. So in total, if we look at these up to the 23 days when the additive is most effective, we get about 75% reduction in methane and about a 50% reduction in the other gases. And this is from the dynamic tanks over which the air was passed. When we look at the static tank, so this could be more like a covered lagoon, would be something like this. The effect on the methane production rate is much stronger. It was about 90%. And the total volume of emissions that came off was reduced 75%. So the next phase then, from the samples from day 30 of this trial, we did a biomethane potential, simply incubating some of the slurry with some bugs from an anaerobic digestion plant, and we see how much methane comes off. We did this for quite a long time, and there was a 57% increase in the methane you could get off from the additive treated slurry than from that which had been stored with no treatment. And this is from the dynamic chamber where airflow was passed. The static chamber, the same idea, there was an increase, but we can see that less gas is lost when it's covered because the potential is higher in total. So in closing, a novel slurry additive was used successfully in warm temperature slurry storage, and we were able to reduce methane emissions and ammonia by up to 75%. The carbon content of the slurry was maintained by preventing the loss of carbon dioxide and methane. This was demonstrated by a 50% increase in the biomethane potential. And one dose of this additive was effective for roughly 3 weeks. And the best part about it is it breaks down into environmentally safe constituents. So this slurry and the digestate from the digester, if it were to be spread on land, there doesn't need to be any secondary process that happens. So there is a beautiful picture of Ireland. And I want to thank you for organizing this. It's the first conference since the pandemic. For me, it's amazing to see other human beings, and it's cool. So thank you, and thank you for your attention.